another edition of Campo's Corner with Coach Dave Campo. I'm Tom McManus, and we've got a great show for you lined up. The one and only James Washington, NFL player out of UCLA, and recently named the president of the Rose Bowl Institute and a former player of Coach Campo. Coach, you bring in the best guests. I don't know, they mean a lot to you.
Listen, these guys, the one thing I miss about coaching are these guys.
Yeah.
You know, I love the competition, but really, in all honesty, to see what James has done, and I'm kind of give an overview for you, James, for the people so that they kind of know who you are. This is a young man that came out of Watts, California, played at Jordan High School, Olympic gold medalist out of there, great athletic school.
Wow.
And then went to UCLA, an All-American. As a matter of fact, as a freshman, 119 tackles, the most tackles ever for a freshman.
Whoa.
Starter for UCLA. Went on, was drafted in the 5th round.
Yep.
LA Rams, came with us in Plan B, the first free agency, which was fantastic. 2-time Super Bowl champ. In the first Super Bowl against Buffalo, he intercepts the ball in the first quarter for the first touchdown,
Yep.
set it up. And then in the second one, he should have been MVP of the Atlanta Super Bowl. He had caused the fumble.
Yep.
That he ran it, set up the first field goal. And then in the second half, he intercepted, I'm ahead of myself. In the second Super Bowl, he picked up a fumble and ran it in for a touchdown to tie it.
Yep.
And then in the fourth quarter, he intercepted one that set up the final touchdown. James, we're great to have you on. The thing that I'm most excited about, though, is what you've done after. Can you kind of bring the people up to date with what you've done since you finished playing football in the NFL?
I mean, it's been a whirlwind here in California, but the biggest piece is, California has been great to me. UCLA has been great to me. When I retired, I came back home and I became a development officer, meaning a fundraiser for UCLA, the university, for the entire campus, the alumni component. And I have continued to grow and learn every day. Those who know me, I created Shelter 37 33 years ago when I played for the Dallas Cowboys. And I've always had a passion for giving back. A kid who came from South Central, understanding, coming from Watts, there was people who reached down and really pulled me up. So I thought I owe that to the community. And that has been my mission from the day that I retired. It really has been, how do I save one? And I've been saving one every day that I've walked off the playing field.
That's fantastic, James. What a great story. Hey, today's draft day, right? Day number 1. You were a 5th rounder out of UCLA. You played for Terry Donahue. Talk about being drafted, man, and what that meant to you coming out of South Central.
You know what, though? It was kind of weird because I had injured my knee my senior year. And so you know how that goes. I went to the combine, all those things, played in the East-West senior game.
Yep.
So I knew I would have an opportunity, but I just thought I watched guys on draft day go in front of me. And I was like, and Campo know how I am. I'm not an arrogant person, but I do speak freely. And I watched a lot of those bums get drafted before me. And I said, I was just determined. And every year, like in the NFL, they give you a roster of all the guys that get drafted before you. But it was nerve-wracking because as I was watching guys call their names, and the draft is not like how it is now. I sat there and I was about to go to the movies before the Los Angeles Rams called me. Because I was like, okay, guess, my knee, I got a 0 at the combine on my knee because I hadn't quite healed yet, but I still went out and participated. And lo and behold, the home team drafted me. Got a lot of experience through that process. And I thank the Rams for the opportunity to get me in the door, but I thank the Dallas Cowboys for putting me on the big stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: you were around a lot of different coaches. You know, your high school coaches, your college coaches. In the NFL, you were with 3 teams. What are some of the things that you took from coaches from a leadership standpoint that you've been able to use? There's no question you were one of my favorite players as far as the competitiveness and you know, smart, instinctive. That's why you got the interceptions. But some of that leadership stuff you had to develop.
Well, I start with my high school coach, Henry Washington, who saved me. I didn't start playing football till 11th grade. In camp, you kind of know my history and know I was a little knucklehead back in the day. But I start with my high school coach. And one thing that he poured into me was you have to show up. You got to be on time, and you have to really work when nobody else is watching. That was one from high school.
Yep.
Then I go to Tom Hayes, and he was my college coach. He really poured into the importance of watching film. And not just watching film, but being able to go through each position and analyze from the X receiver to the Y receiver to the H receiver to the Z receiver and understand everything that's going on. And he really, you know, if you think about the safeties that came out of UCLA, you know, I followed some great guys like a Kenny Easley, a Don Rogers, and then it was me. Mm-hmm. And then Eric Turner and Matt Darby came after me, and so many safeties and DBs that came after me. And we owe that film study and the concept of being ready to play to Tom Hayes. Schaefer was a different kind of coach when I got to the Rams, not taking anything away, but he didn't. I already was in there. I learned more from, you know, when I got there because I was a knucklehead. They lockered me next to Jackie Slater and Henry Ellert. So my locker as a rookie was between those guys. So I actually learned a lot more in the locker room when I was with the Rams. But life in the light bulb really came on when I went to the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not blowing this smoke up your tail because I'm doing your show, Campo, but you gave me the different kind of confidence. So I took all the things that I had learned before I met you, and you put it in the package, and you allowed me to grow with, you know, unlimitations. But you poured into me the knowledge, and then you also gave the trust that I can call the defense on the field through our preparation. As long as I continue to watch film, and all the things that I had learned before allowed me to become a Super Bowl champ with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, let me tell you, there's no question, Tom. He was from a mental standpoint. You know, he was outstanding. You were outstanding in that. And then you know what his nickname was, right? Drive-by, because he was gonna take you out. He wasn't gonna give you a chance, you know. So he had both. He had the mental and he had the physical. I don't know if you know this, James, but I actually went out to UCLA, and I can't remember what year it was. I don't even know if it was when you were with us, but I went out to UCLA and I critiqued Tom in spring practice one year. And then Tom came to the Cowboys and critiqued me. I don't know if you remember that or knew that or whatever. Tom Hayes was an outstanding football coach. I have a great deal.
That would have been a little bit after. He probably did that after the fact because he was I think you were still in college, coaching college at the time when I left, because I left in 87.
Right.
But he spoke very highly of you too. And that was kind of one of the reasons. He was like, that's the kind of guy that you probably want to play for. And I remember during the free agency time, when I thought I was going to the Raiders. And, I always, wore 37. Lester Hayes was my guy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
I remember I worked out for you doing Plan B. And it was cold out there. I didn't complain, didn't run real fast. So I thought, okay, not going to the Cowboys. And so I was waiting for free agency. I took a trip to the Bahamas or something, and I was flying back. And back then they didn't have cell phones, so you couldn't communicate with your agent like that. So I'm flying American Airlines. They take me off the plane, and I remember them grabbing me from DFW and bringing me over to the facilities. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what the heck is going on? And I get an opportunity. They take me into the room with Jimmy Johnson. And this is a true story. And we sit down, and Jimmy Johnson, you got to understand, I had just played in the NFC Championship against San Francisco 49ers, the Rams. So that was would have been 89.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting down with Jimmy Johnson. I think Dallas Cowboys was 1-15. And Jimmy says to me, point blank, clear face, he says, "James, have you talked to your agent?" I'm like, "No, we don't have cell phones at that time." He said, "Well, we should get your agent on the phone." And in the process of this whole time, he would say, "Yeah, within 1 or 2 years, we're going to be playing in the Super Bowl." And I did everything in my power not to laugh in this man's face, because you got to understand, I had just played in the NFC Championship, so I knew what it took to get to the NFC Championship, right? And I'm looking at Jimmy, and he was dead serious.
Yeah.
3 years later, we're winning our first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
In your home stadium.
Yeah, at the Rose
And
Bowl.
in my home stadium, we practiced at my home.
Cool.
It was amazing. It was amazing go.
Yeah. James Washington here with us on Campo's Corner. As we wrap up, James, talk about being the president of the Rose Bowl Institute. I know you guys do a lot in the community, a lot of awareness, a lot of help. Tell us what it means to be the president at the helm, and tell us your mission throughout the Institute, please.
Well, the best thing is that you have an opportunity to wake up every day and impact people. The Rose Bowl Institute is really set on 3 pillars, and that's pretty much sportsmanship, leadership, and citizenship. Okay. And we try to touch base in all those facets. Our women's empowerment grows our leadership program. Our athletes in school allows us to go and teach sportsmanship and what it means to be a good athlete on and off the field. And our Rose Table Dialogues allows us to speak wisdom through citizenship and learning. We've teamed up with the Ronald Reagan Institute, and we've done some amazing deals, roundtables, trying to impact sportsmanship. We're trying to bring that back in the athletic world and off the field. So to be able to wake up every day, like I told you before the interview started, is I have a dream job where I'm able to impact people and change lives. And what else could you ask for as an athlete? Yep. Yes, I won Super Bowls. I won 2 Rose Bowls. I also beat Campo and them in the Fiesta Bowl my freshman year.
You didn't beat me. I wasn't there yet. But you did. You beat Jimmy.
Wasn't on the wagon at that point in time. You know what I'm saying?
But hey, listen. We really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, totally.
I love you, James. You know that. From a competitive standpoint, you're one of the best I ever had. And listen, I hope you learned some things from me, and good luck with everything as far as what you're doing now. We appreciate you for sure.
Yeah. Honor to meet you, James. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Hey, Tom, you know what I do? I'm going to pray for you, bro, because to have that guy on your side, he's a good guy and he means well. But see, I heard he don't holler at you like he used to holler at me as much. So.
He's an Italian guy. What do you expect? They all yell. You know what I mean? Especially the little Italian guys. They love yelling. So just let them yell. It's okay.
Most of them are you little, though. That barks a lot.
Yeah, right.
Thanks a lot.
All right, James. Thanks so much, man. All the best.
All righty. Have a great day.
All right, man. See you. All right, that'll do it for us here on Campo's Corner with Coach Dave Campo. What a great guest. They keep coming in, Coach. Great job.
We had some good guys, which you know, but
yeah,
we also had some good guys with the Jaguars, and we're going to get some of those guys on as well.
All right. We'll see you next time right here on Campo's Corner.